Welcome to exercise 1, examine a data module. The objective of this exercise is to launch and examine an existing data module. We will launch a finished version of the data module that will be created during this Tech Educate course on data modules. We begin first of all by opening up from my content, open up the Go Data Module demo. On the left hand side, a little bit more to the left, we have a button that shows us the source view, and we can see that this module is made up of 3 schemas: the Go Sales HR, HR for human resources, and Go Sales RT, RT for retailers. And if we expand the Go Sales, we can see the columns that would be in that schema, or I should say the tables. These are tables. And if we expand the branch, we can see that now we are seeing the columns. So we can see expand the different tables with their columns. And I'm going to collapse that and show you a bit of the Go Sales HR as well, and the Go Sales RT. To close this window, we'll simply go at the top and click on the X to close this window. Next, we'll see how to add more tables if that's what we need. The plus sign is always the add, so we can say add sources and tables. And here I'm going to choose the second one that says add more tables. And we're looking in the schemas again, but this time we see some places where we already have some check marks, and some are just blank waiting for a check mark. So where it's the check marks currently exist, you can see it's grayed out. That indicates that those are the tables that are currently being used in the data modules. And the places where we can still place the check marks, those would be other tables that would be selected. We don't need to add any more tables. We just want to take a bit of a look around, so we'll cancel out of this screen and take a look at some of the tables that we find in this module. We take a look at the top, we can see our sales fact and the sales target fact. We'll take a look at the sales target fact here in a moment. But first, I'm going to point out the fact that those tables the icons that are associated with these 2 fact tables, you'll notice they look a little different. And that is because they are different. Because the sales target fact is from a raw table based off of a SQL select statement, whereas the sales fact is actually from a custom table. It's more like a view based off of a couple other tables. We'll be taking a look at that a little bit later in custom tables. But for now, we'll take a look at the sales target fact, expand it, and you'll notice that we have a keys folder that's also grayed out, and then of course we have our target revenue, which is the only column that will actually be visible to the user. If we expand the keys, we can see again the different keys or the different numbers that are in the sales target fact, but as mentioned, they are grayed out because they will not be visible to the user. If we click on the sales target fact itself or double click on it, we'll notice in the right hand window it comes up to a grid. Now, this grid is going to show us the first 101 records. And if you get near the bottom where you're just about exhausted of these 101, it's going to fetch more rows if there are more rows. We will take a look at the sales here, double click it, and see that we have many options: filtering, create calculations, data group, etc. Our focus for the time being is simply to take a look at the filter to show you that as far as the data is concerned, if we wanted to, we can easily filter off of one of the years. And right now we're only going to be seeing data for 2011. And you'll notice that because this column is being filtered, we have a little filter icon in the column, as well as in the column of the grid, as well as in the column of the Explorer. Even the table itself, the sales target fact table, has an icon of a filter to show you that that column is being filtered. But we're going to remove that filter either by, again, opening up the filter dialog box and removing the check mark, or saying clear all. That will remove the filter. We'll just say OK. To the right of the grid, we see a Relationships tab, which we'll click on. And here, we'll see what is currently in this data module. You'll notice there are a couple of fact tables in here. There's a sales fact, there's a target, or there's a returns fact, and you'll notice that there are different dimensions, conform dimensions, linked to these fact tables. Actually, even the sales target fact. So we have 3 different fact tables on the left-hand side. This is the model we will be creating in this course. If we want to see more, we can zoom in. We can zoom out to see less. We can select. We can control select certain tables. We can click the background to remove the selections that we have. If we want to see the cardinality of any of these tables, to see how they're linked, we can click on the link itself. I'm going to go off to the right and take a look at the branch and the branch query path. Take a look at the link, click on it, and it shows us that branch query path is linked to branch, includes matching rows. It shows you what the codes are. I'll double click the link to get even more detail, and we see the contents of the branch query path on the left and the branch on the right. I can say refresh, and we'll see data coming in from both tables, and the branch country code, they have the same codes. If I take a look at the right hand side on the bottom, matched columns, I can see that the cardinality is equals, or the expression equals branch country code on the left equals country code on the right. I'll close this. And if I look on the left hand side, I can actually see the cardinality. I can see that we have an inner join. It is a one-to-many, and there is no filtering. And then we'll cancel. If I want to look at just one of the fact tables, let's say we wanted to look at just the sales fact and what it's related to, I can click on the sales fact, and you'll notice we have a dialog box on the right that's for diagram settings. And if I turn focus mode on, I will only see the sales fact and its dimensions. Turn it off, do the same with the sales target, and we can only see its contents, or its links. So now let's take a look at the third tab of the custom tables. As an example, we'll take a look at the sales fact. So these are all tables they're like views, right? And so the sales fact is the one we'll take a look at, and we can see that the sales fact was made from the order header and order details. If I click on the 3 dots, or the more, or double click and say edit table view, we can expand and see the contents of these 2 tables. We'll notice that some of them have check marks, some of them have been removed. The check marks have been removed, so the order number only needed to be shown the one time. And again, retailer name has nothing, usually should have no business in a fact table, so it's they've been deselected, and if we click on the refresh, we can see the data that comes as a result of these 2 tables. We'll say cancel to go back, and with the arrow to the left, go back to our root for the custom tables. And the next, what we would like to do is look at the column dependencies. Now, column dependencies, for those who remember from Framework Manager, it's an equivalent to the determinants. Now, the column dependencies tab does not appear at the top of the viewing pane like the other tabs, not by default. To have it appear, you first have to right-click a table that has column dependencies enabled, and then from the context menu, you would choose the specify column dependencies. We'll take a look at the column dependencies on the time order dim. So I'm going to click on the time order dim. And choose specify column dependencies. And you will notice another tab just appeared at the top. And these are the column dependencies. You'll notice the list is vertical by default. If we want, we can switch it to horizontal view and actually see what it looks like horizontally. The hierarchical dependencies from year to quarter to month to day are represented in the diagram, and the default view is to expand the diagram horizontally. Now, the column dependencies will be created for several table structures in a later chapter, so we'll talk about them later. This concludes our first demo. We can choose our switcher and close this demo, and we don't need to save.